You are now watching a clip from the Inspired by show. You can watch the full episode on our YouTube channel or listen on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to head over there, leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it, and follow the show. Obviously, you've always had this sort of passion for being seen. So tell us a little bit about the Miss Universe side of things and everything that happened with that.
Let's go back there. Passion for being seen, aka trauma. Maybe if the world loves me, I'll love me too. Yeah. And that's what it was. So when I was a teenager, really wanted to, life's ambition was to be a Victoria's Secret angel. That's all I wanted to do. I was like, oh my God. I don't even know why. I was like, that just looks great to me. So really tried to get involved in the modeling industry, got loosely signed to an agency, this, that, and the other. And then I thought, I'm going to find a workaround, because I'm very good at finding workarounds. I'm like, I want that thing. This path is, there's a little bit of resistance here. Let's, kind of go off a little bit, go through the forest, and then maybe we can get to the other side of it. So I was like, beauty pageants. That's what I'm going to do. So I was moderately successful. I never won one, just such as the tragedy of my story. But I came runner-up. I would represent Leicestershire and Loughborough and things like that. Got into the finals of the Miss Universe Great Britain pageant, actually. And one of the girls who I was going to go into it with, she is now quite a successful, almost supermodel, actually. She's called Laura Coleman. I think she's stunning. Really nice girl. Not a dickhead. Most of them were. But I remember when I was like 19. So obviously, just imagine, homeless, evicted. I've got to go put my ball gown on and go to a pageant. I just kept going with it all. Wow. I just kept going because I thought, well, the world clearly hasn't stopped turning for me. So just going to keep going, got to keep pushing through. But then when I was at university, I don't know, I was really slipping into like a dark place at this point. But I was having people coming at me saying like, you shouldn't really eat that. Like people in my family would be like, oh, if you want to be a model, maybe you shouldn't eat that. You need to slim down. So I had a raging eating disorder for like years. And then one day when I was living away from home, I was like finally trying to figure out like that version of me. I woke up one day and was like, fuck it. And I went and I got a pint and I went and got a pizza. I ate the whole pizza and I sat with myself and I was like, we are not going to feel bad about this. We are definitely not going to go and make ourselves throw up afterwards. And I emailed Miss Universe and I quit. I just quit. I walked away. I didn't touch anything like that with a barge pole until January of this year. So for context, I'm 31, nearly 32 now. And there was always a big part of me that like missed it. And I loved it. And I don't even know what it is, but just like something about the modeling and the pageantry and the being on stages, it filled me with joy. I find it really empowering. Maybe in the same way that musicians feel when they get to perform on stage. But yeah, I bailed out because I was sad and lonely and really wanted to eat pizzas. Then I ate my feelings for 10 years. That's what I did instead. But I was on GMTV actually with I think, I can't remember who it was, but yeah, getting into like pageantry stuff. And then when I left that world, I then decided to go into the music business. I'm hideously untalented, by the way. I had lessons for years, singing, guitar, piano, drums, you name it, I tried. I have no rhythm and I have no pitch. So I went on to the admin side and I started tour managing bands, and then I started putting shows on, and then I started getting recognition within that industry, and I would get interviewed on TV shows and podcasts, and I was in national publications and things like that. So I think in some way, shape or form, I've always been there, because I think maybe I just formed this belief when I was younger that maybe those people, they're not paying attention to me, so I'm going to go and fucking show them like what for. Yeah. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I'm doing it from a place of love now, but it was definitely from a place of trauma before, I think.
I think sometimes it is, we understand where it comes from. Like, so we're like, oh, I was doing that for trauma, now I'm doing it for fun.
Yeah.
But the result's still the same. Yeah. It's just the driving force underneath it. Now, question for you, Liz. You mentioned about you being in beauty pageants and Miss Universe, which is incredible.
You can do the wave.
Yeah. I love that. Now, you mentioned about that sort of side of your life. Yeah. And then when you quit that, it was because of the eating disorder. Do you connect the two together? Is being on the beauty pageants and being in Miss Universe connected to the eating disorder, or vice versa?
Yeah, no, they are. Back then they were. They definitely were. I think this is in the noughties and, maybe 2010, 2011. And back in the noughties, society's vision of what beauty was the lollipop girls, is what they called them. So like Paris Hilton, stick thin, had Lily Cole, Kate Moss, like all of those supermodels, they were stick thin, no carbs whatsoever. And for me, I thought, well, a lot of my self-worth was wrapped up in things to do with like money, success, and beauty. So I then developed this this warped belief from a young age that so long as I was pretty, I was worthy and lovable. And so I think when I was like 13, maybe 12 actually, I was young, developed anorexia. And this carried right through until I was like, 19, I stopped making myself throw up. But I don't think I let go of those negative thought patterns until 2-3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Like, that when I then became this incarnation of myself and like started loving myself and stopped exercising to lose weight and stopped dieting to lose weight. And instead, if I exercise, it's because I want to feel good. I eat well because I want to fill my body with nourishment. So, then runs better so I can do more. Like, I don't do things deliberately to lose weight. Like, I don't have scales or anything like that. I don't know. I'm just chill. I'm happy now. But back then, I would weigh myself 3 times a day. I think the stupidest diet I ever did was I would only eat things off blue plates because I read somewhere once that if you eat off blue plates, it can trick your mind into thinking it's fuller quicker. That's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. But back then I was like, it's true. Anything. I'll try anything. I wouldn't eat anything that was larger than the palm of my hand. Like, that would be my meal. And if it like touched the edges of my hand, I'd just, oh God, I would then go and like make myself be sick. So I struggled with anorexia and bulimia for a number of years. And I remember like fainting and passing out at school, and I actually like I developed anemia off the back of it as well. So then, I'm almost healed up from that now. But it was just a really, really difficult period of time, especially when you have people coming to you and saying like, you're not going to be successful in what you want to do unless you lose weight. Who says that to a 17-year-old girl? And I'm not talking about people in the industry. I'm talking about people in my family would say that to me. Shitheads.
What size were you, for context, then?
Size 6 to 8.
Wow.
And I like, for anybody who's listening to this without like a visual reference, I've got decent bone structure. Like, they say I've got swimmer's shoulders. Like, I looked unwell. Like, I there's a few photos that exist of me back then, and I did not look okay at any point. But I remember looking in the mirror and thinking, I need to lose weight. I need to lose weight. And you get such bad body dysmorphia when you're in the thick of it, and you really, when you're inside the jar, you can't see the label, can you? And it was so bad. And like, unfortunately, I was never so bad that I was hospitalized. I had friends who were, and they really, really struggled with it. And it took them quite a long time because of the physical repercussions, really like messes up your stomach and like everything. But for me, I managed to kind of pull myself out of it. Sort of. I say this, I just went the other way when I was like 19, 20 and tipped into drinking and drugs and eating shit all the time sort of thing. So it's hard.
What was the turning point? So go back to that moment where you were like, fuck it, I'm going to get a pint, I'm going to get a pizza.
Such good pizza.
What flavour pizza, by the way? Do you remember?
Pepperoni. Oh yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
Totally unrelated.
My favourite.
So back in that moment, you go to get the pint, you go to get the pizza. What happened just before then? Because I always think there's usually like a breaking point or a light bulb moment where it's like, fuck this, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. So about a week before, I was up at a pageant in the north, and I'd actually taken my mum with me. And she got really drunk. She got really drunk at the pageant. So obviously we'd just been through this really like traumatic thing like a year ago, which everyone was just brushing under the carpet. And I was like, come with me to this thing. She got absolutely hammered. She wasn't very nice. And I think that was when her mental health started really like slipping. And she said a few very nasty things to me that night that I think got in my head, which were akin to, you're never going to be successful at this. It's never going to work for you. Like, look at you, you're wasting your time, like this, that, and the other. And I think that then sat with me. And then I went to uni in Birmingham, and, we managed to like get her in a house, like an apartment at this point, maybe. I don't know. And I think I woke up one day and I thought, she's right. They're all right, actually. They're all right. So why keep trying to do something that's never going to work. I'm never going to be successful. I'm never going to be pretty enough. I'm never going to be thin enough. I'm never going to be this. I'm never going to be that. So fucking fuck it. Why not? And I think I then just slid into this other side of despair, but at least I got to eat, you know? At least I got to eat. So, I mean, yes, maybe not the best driving force to like start healing from an eating disorder, but I'm grateful for it. Nonetheless, I'm grateful for every bad thing that's happened to me, because without that, I then wouldn't be able to do all the cool stuff I'm doing these days, you know? I wouldn't then be able to go out and then inspire other people. And every time I, you know, give a little nugget of my weird life, they go, thank you so much. That's actually really inspired me. And then that makes me feel good. So